friends! Before we get too far into this new year, I thought we could have a motivational chat about singing and goals and creating joy while we do it. Now, whether you've made formal New Year's resolutions or not, a new year is a great time to take stock of where we are and where we are going. I'm going to talk a bit about goal setting and motivation within the context of singing. So let's talk about improving your personal vocal practice with joy as we focus on one thing at a time. Now, before we go on, there are links below to a whole bunch of things that I'm talking about today. I've included links to some great vocal warm-ups and exercises and tutorials and conversations. I've included how to find my app for singers and great ways to track your progress. Whether or not you have big singing related goals, I think it's safe to say that most people sing for fun. If you've gotten this far into the video, I'm guessing that you find it fun or fulfilling to get better at your craft. I have a question for you. How do you measure how you're doing? Is it that you're singing with more ease or developing a stronger voice? Maybe working through your passaggio? Maybe it's just setting a timer and working for a certain number of minutes per day so you can get that check mark. Pause for just a moment and think about your top 3 vocal goals this year. If you need just a little bit more guidance on goals and you'd like to have something to write those in, check out my planner in the links below. Now, I've mentioned before that most of us aren't properly taught how to practice. I'm going to give you a tool today that you can use in your daily practice. We'll talk a little bit about long-term goals as well. Let's touch base briefly on staying motivated. Sometimes it's hard to see our own improvement from day to day, but we can develop a mid and long-range view of our own progress. If you view yourself as a singer who plays and practices with joy and commitment every day, and you actively watch for beautiful gains, you will find them. Check out my video on learning to love your own voice. You can also see my video linked below on how to develop a vocal practice. Let's take a look at some numbers. If you were to practice 30 minutes a day for just 3 days a week, by the end of the year, you'll have spent 78 hours practicing. Now, if you up that to 30 minutes 5 days a week, that's 130 hours per year. How much could you accomplish? Now let's extend that over 5 years. Practicing 3 days a week for 30 minutes. In 5 years, you'd have practiced 390 hours. If you make that 5 days a week, that turns into 650 hours of practice. That's a lot of time with your instrument. The small choices that we make add up. Take care of your future self by giving yourself the gift of that time to commit to practice. I would argue, however, that time is not the most important aspect of improvement. Most of us want to look back at those 650 hours to see that we've made progress. Mindlessly running exercises or listening to practice tracks may move the needle forward a little bit. But here's my one big piece of advice. What if you picked one thing to work on and kept at that one thing, kept it right in the front of your mind for each practice session, or even for 15 minutes during a practice session? For example, while I warm up today, I'm going to focus on low and engaged breathing. Or while I review notes and words today, I'm going to focus on keeping my jaw and neck relaxed. We generally try to focus on too many things at once, which means no one of those things is getting our full focus. So you want to do an experiment with me? Even just for today. Pick one thing for today, or maybe it'll be a theme for the week. Go get a notebook. It's okay. Hit pause. I'll wait. Just choose one thing for today. And as you experiment with each one thing, you'll find the one that gives you the most bang for your buck. Maybe you need to devote 80% of your attention to breathing and alignment. We all should be checking in on that a lot. Maybe top of mind should be your relaxation, or maybe you have a tendency to jut out your jaw, or have some nervous movement that's adding tension to your body. Once you've experimented with these one things, keep cycling through them, but what you might find is a single thing that gives you the most bang for your buck. It might be as simple as focusing on a sensation. Now, while you're working on rep or on warm-ups or on range extension exercises today, what one thing could bring the most improvement? And you might not know the answer to having some one magical thing. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting try one thing at a time to focus on. Notice what gains you make with that focus. Need some ideas? I'll give you a few. How about consistent and coordinated breath, or alignment, or releasing tension? And that tension might manifest in a specific spot. Maybe you feel it in your jaw or your neck. Maybe you feel it in your abdomen, or even your hips or legs. You could think about allowing ease moving into your head voice, or even developing the skill of remembering to focus on one thing. Because you're going to forget. That's what we do. Just keep bringing it back in. Write it down, stick it on a post-it note, put it right there in front of you so that every time you stop and restart, we're coming back to that one thing. Not sure where to start? Breath is always a great place to start. Now, as we continue into the new year, I look forward to sharing some exciting programs and announcements with you. Keep singing alone, keep singing with others, just keep singing. Check out those links I've dropped for you below. I'll see you next time.